Path of Titans combat is bad. Okay, in all seriousness, no it's not. There are unique playstyles among playables, and every playable can fill a role in the group. With that being said, Path of Titans combat is nothing to be amazed by, as it is pretty straightforward. You have your tank, your DPS, and your support. Each role is better in certain situations than others, and each provides a necessary role in the group, and each is fundamentally overpowered in their roles they're supposed to fill. The only issue with Path is that none of the playables feel unique. Let's compare for a second. In Marvel Rivals, you have your typical 3-style comp, that being your tanks, supports, and DPS. Looking at the supports for example, while there are some supports that bridge the gap between the roles, their kits are still fundamentally oriented around supporting. Same with DPS. While there are some cases of DPS stretching into the tank role, most of them tend to revolve around dealing damage. This does lend to some flexibility amongst the teams, but they're still focused on DPS while extending their capabilities in a team. Comedy comes in threes, motherfucker. Gambit is a strategist that has 7 shots which he can shoot out in rapid succession, as well as a melee attack which he can also use to deal damage and heal himself. Moving on to his cards, this is where things get interesting. Gambit's got 2 different types of cards he can use. His first set is purely support. When hitting E, you use up 1 card to apply a slow but steady amount of healing to yourself. If you hit E again, you use up another card, which can bridge healing amongst your team. This is useful if you need to heal multiple players at once, but shouldn't be relied on. The next set is where things get really interesting, as instead of giving you a healing buff, Gambit's spades give you a damage buff of 15%. Using F while Spade is still active throws a damage dealing card that applies anti-heal to your opponents. Despite Gambit's anti-heal not negating that much healing, unlike most anti-heals in the game, you can theoretically apply it to everyone. Also, Gambit's E plus F allows for a cleanse, but is only really useful if you time it perfectly with a strange ult. What makes Gambit unique from the other strategists in the game is that, if the situation calls for it, Gambit can either be a backline support that can dish out insane amounts of healing, or a frontline DPS that can empower your tanks and DPS to get through a hard choke. Gambit is unique because he allows for 2 separate playstyles if played right, and there are many playables like this in Rivals. There is not a single playable in POT that is as unique as Gambit. Let me paint you a picture. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the baddest, strongest apex carnivore the land has ever seen, is a fucking support. Metriacanthosaurus, one of the most unique scavenger-esque dinosaurs out there, is a support. Alioramus, a slender tyrannosaur that specializes in hunting small animals, gets folded by a fuck-ass Utah Raptor knockoff. Concavenator, a fish-eating half-ton playable, folds apexes. Spinosaurus, support. Suchomimus, bleed support. Megalania, irrelevant. Thal, irrelevant. Ramp, support. Lamb, support. Bars, support. Everything in POT can support in some fashion, and it makes every playable have the same vibe. The game doesn't allow for unique playables to shine through, because if everything's the same, then nothing's unique. This leads to what is probably the most frustrating meta in Path of Titans, which is just go bleed. Because if you have an ability that can negate healing, then it's better to run it than anything else. This is the part of the video where I would normally provide my own opinion. However, I A, want to keep the video relatively short, and B, I have no control over the dev's vision of this game, and so I'd just be wasting my breath if this comment is anything to go off. I'll always dream of a combat update, but at the end of the day it is just dreaming. The devs have their vision and their goals, and there's no changing that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.